Good morning. Welcome to 모닝스페셜. 여러분 안녕하세요. 9월 11일 수요일 최수진의 모닝스페셜입니다. Well, we're finally a day away from the long-awaited holiday, and although it's relatively shorter than previous years, it's still a chance to demonstrate our love for our family with visits, calls, meals together, and of course, gifts. 네, 추석 연휴가 하루 앞으로 다가왔습니다. 아마 이때쯤은 가족들에게 드릴 선물 준비하신 분들도 많으실 텐데요. 요새 명절 선물도 매장을 직접 찾아가기보다는 온라인으로 클릭하는 사람들이 늘고 있다고 합니다. 다만 신선식품 선물은 여전히 오프라인 매장에서 눈으로 직접 보고 구매하는 사람들이 더 많다고 하는데요. 어떤 선물보다 추석 때 가족들을 오랜만에 직접 만난다는 설레는 마음만큼 그보다 더 큰 선물은 없지 않을까 싶네요. Well, gifts in both hands will certainly never be enough when compared to the anticipation of seeing one's family. And with that in mind, let me give you today's quiz question for the first hour. During holidays like Chuseok, many people choose to send gifts to their loved ones. These gifts are generally 1번, delivered, 2번, exchanged. And the key word here is sending their gifts to their loved ones. 1번, delivered, 2번 exchanged. 비슷한 단어 찾아주시면 되겠습니다. 오늘도 청취자 여러분의 많은 참여 기다리고 있습니다. 퀴즈 정답 보내주신 분들 중에 추첨을 통해서 총 5분께 쿨링 스포츠 젤 보내드립니다. 또 여러분의 소식과 소감 그리고 방송 중 궁금한 질문 있으시면 보내주세요. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045로 보내주시고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. Okay, then let's kick off today's show with today's global headlines. 세계 각국 언론사들의 어떤 헤드라인이 올라왔는지 살펴보는 시간입니다. Touch Global Headlines.
Japanese Environment Minister Yoshiaki Harada has said that the only possible option to dispose of radioactive water from Fukushima is to release it into the Pacific Ocean.
하라다 요시아키 일본 환경상이 후쿠시마 원전 오염수를 바다로 방출할 수밖에 없다는 입장을 밝혀 파문이 일고 있습니다.
U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that he asked National Security Advisor John Bolton to resign.
도널드 트럼프 미국 대통령이 존 볼튼 백악관 국가안보보좌관을 전격 경질했습니다.
The Hong Kong government has denied persistent rumors that anti-government protesters may have died during a violent police clearance.
홍콩 시민들 사이에 퍼지고 있는 시위대 3명 사망설에 대해 홍콩 정부가 강력 부인하고 나섰습니다.
The Vietnam General Confederation of Labor has requested cutting working time from 48 hours per week to 44 hours per week.
베트남에서 근로자의 주당 기본 근로 시간을 48시간에서 44시간으로 줄이는 문제를 놓고 논란이 일고 있습니다.
Private university tuition in South Korea is still at the top among OECD members, retaining the fourth place.
한국의 사립대학 등록금이 OECD 국가 중 4위로 여전히 최상위권 수준인 것으로 나타났습니다. And for the headlines and more, I'm joined by Walter 선생님. Good morning.
Well, good morning. I have two separate good mornings this morning.
Okay.
I have one for you,
Yep.
a special one, and then one for our listeners. To you, I have an exciting good morning. And to our listeners and viewers, I have a fantastic good morning to all of you.
Yes, indeed. Well, thank you so much. An exciting good morning to you too, 선생님. Well, today is, I suppose, D1 leading up to the long extended holiday weekend.
Yeah, it's like Chuseok, not Chuseok itself, but
Eve.
Chuseok holiday Eve.
Yes, that's right.
If you could say that.
Yes, and that means a lot of people will likely be driving out of the cities and going to their hometowns to meet their parents.
Yeah, it's all sort of kicking off very soon. Thankfully, at least here in the capital area, but I think for the rest of South Korea itself as well. Thankfully, the rains have subsided.
Somewhat,
knock on wood.
yeah.
And hopefully that holds up for the remainder of the Chuseok holiday
We
period.
are still expecting a bit of rain, actually, in the central regions. But as you said, it's not quite as bad as it was last night in Seoul. It rained really heavily.
Yeah, I think more than 100 millimeters of rain, and I still saw today some very deep puddles. So everybody drive extra carefully. Watch out for potholes. Sometimes the road surface will sort of crack and become a hole. So if you're driving, pay extra close attention to potholes.
Absolutely. All right. Well, if you'd like to listen to the headlines once again, you can do so by visiting our website. 여러분이 조금 전에 들으신 헤드라인은요, 모닝스페셜 홈페이지 헤드라인 다시 듣기에서 무료로 다시 들으실 수 있습니다. 많은 이용 바랍니다. All right, let's go over the headlines.
Headline number 1. Japanese Environment Minister Yoshiaki Harada has said that the only possible option to dispose of radioactive water from Fukushima is to release it into the Pacific Ocean.
하라다 요시아키 일본 환경상이 후쿠시마 원전 오염수를 바다로 방출할 수밖에 없다는 입장을 밝혀 파문이 일고 있습니다.
So, of course, this is a story that we have touched upon before. There have been some rumblings of this release of water happening. It seems that perhaps we are getting closer to a time where there may actually be some action here, because we do have the officials saying in Japan now that there is no other option. It is the only way. And just by way of a refresher, we are talking here of approximately 100 million tons of this contaminated water, which is currently in storage. That is the water that is said to be needed to be released. However, they haven't said the amount that actually would be released if a release were to happen.
But I don't think it's so much about the amount, but the fact that it might be released into the ocean and therefore affect not only the close by nations, but the world, essentially.
Well, of course, that is the issue that we discussed previously as well. If Japan were to go ahead with this discharge, obviously that's going to have ramifications for nature and the rest of the world, South Korea included. But of course, not only South Korea, local fishermen there also have been watching the matter very closely because they've spent a number of years trying to rebuild that industry.
Yeah.
However, it is, I think, also important to point out that the release of this water that does contain this one particular radioactive element, the release of that water is commonly done in minute amounts from coastal nuclear plants, as well as that particular radioactive element does occur naturally, albeit in minute amounts, but it does occur naturally in nature.
Okay. Well, this press conference was held yesterday, and that was where the comments came out from the Japanese minister. It was still quite alarming. 어제 있었던 기자회견에서요, 일본의 환경상이 이렇게 얘기를 했습니다. 그거 그냥 눈 딱 감고 바다에다 방출하는 거 외에는 뭐 다른 방법이 없다, 이런 얘기를 했습니다. 물론 그러면서도 내 소관 밖의 일이다라고 하면서 어떤 뭐 책임은 지지 않는다라는 얘기를 은연중에 좀 밝히기도 했습니다만, 후쿠시마 원전 내에 있는 오염수가 앞으로 어떻게 될 것인지에 대해서 지금 우리나라도 굉장히 우려를 많이 표현하고 있고요. 뭐 우리나라뿐만 아닙니다. 이제 태평양에 이렇게 방출을 하게 되면은 우리가 당장 먹는 뭐 해물이라든지 그다음에 환경 오염 여러 가지 문제들이 나올 수 있겠죠. South Korea has of course responded in the past couple of days and months, in fact, related to this issue. We've been voicing concerns.
Well, yes, of course. South Korea has been voicing concerns, and I think most significant to that voicing of concerns, South Korea is not focusing only on how this will affect South Korea, but they are indeed focusing on how this release of the contaminated water would and could affect the entire world. One of the major reactions from Seoul occurred last month when Seoul summoned a senior Japanese embassy official to explain how Fukushima Daiichi's wastewater would be dealt with. Again, that was last month, but was sort of one of the major steps done by Seoul.
Right. And just looking at a sort of time frame, Japan will be hosting the next Olympics. And so hopefully before that time, when many countries get together, we will have to see some sort of resolution to this issue.
Well, yes, of course, those 2020 games are just around the corner. Looking at the current situation of the water storage there are said to be about 1,000 tanks, and the officials there are saying that they will run out of tank space by the summer of 2022. So there is, at least according to those estimates, some time left. However, they're saying that they do need to release this water as it is the only possible option. That was the opinion of the Japanese environment minister.
근데 사실 이제 2020년 올림픽과 패럴림픽이 열리기 전에 해결돼야 하는 이유 중에 하나는요. 도쿄가 올림픽 개최지로 유치전을 펼쳤을 때, 여러 해 전이죠. 그때 당시에 일본이 이 오염수 문제를 올림픽 전에 해결하겠다라고 약속을 한 바가 있기 때문에 약속을 지킬지 봐야겠습니다. Let's go on to our second headline.
Headline number 2. U.S. President Donald Trump has announced that he asked National Security Advisor John Bolton to resign.
도널드 트럼프 미국 대통령이 존 볼튼 백악관 국가안보보좌관을 전격 경질했습니다.
There is at least 2, if not 3 degrees to this story, but probably primarily among those would be the abruptness with which this came. After that, of course, is the fact that it happened at all. And then, of course, the third angle here would be who reacted or who acted first. Nevertheless, let's look at the abruptness of this first. Many people are calling it very abrupt. It came as many pieces of news do come from the president via a tweet. In that tweet, he said that he had asked for Mr. Bolton to resign, noting that he, quote, strongly disagreed with many of Bolton's suggestions, as did others in the administration, in the words of President Trump.
It's hard to know exactly what the whole sentiment is like right now, whether, there was an agreement, but everything was done in a very civil way, or if there was more to this story than meets the eye. But obviously, as you said, some reports are saying that John Bolton was fired. Some people are saying that is not the case. In fact, John Bolton himself has actually said, I resigned. I was not fired.
Right. That announcement, which I think also came via tweet from Mr. Bolton, did come after President Trump issued his tweet. However, Mr. Bolton's tweet did indeed say that, yes, he had offered his resignation, which is what President Trump had said. He had requested Mr. Bolton to resign. Nevertheless, I think key to Mr. Bolton's tweet is that he said, the president then said, let's talk about it tomorrow.
I see. 그랬군요. 존 볼튼 국가안보보좌관에 따르면은 이제 트럼프 대통령이 분명히 사임을 고려해봐라라는 제안을 한 것은 맞고, 그래서 본인도 사임을 할 생각이 있었다라고 얘기를 했습니다. 그리고 사임을 물론 했다고 했지만 약간 여지가 있었던 모양이에요. 미국 대통령이 내일 다시 얘기하자라고 했지만 그 내일이 오기 전에 사임을 한 모습입니다. 이제 경질이 됐다고 이제 외신이 보도하기도 하고요. 리포트에 따라서 좀 워딩은 좀 다릅니다만, 하나 확실한 것은 트럼프 대통령이 워싱턴이, 그러니까 지금 트럼프 행정부가 볼튼 국가보좌관에 대해서 여러 가지 의견 충돌을 가지고 있었고, 더 이상 백악관에 있을 필요가 없다는 의견에 동의했다라는 얘기를 했습니다. We're going to have to see how this will shape future relations between Washington and Seoul as well, especially when it comes to security issues.
Yeah, that's a very important point. Mr. Bolton had often been described as hawkish, meaning that he was quite aggressive and strong towards policies, especially involving North Korea. We won't have to wait too long if Mr. Trump goes ahead with what he said, that he would name Mr. Bolton's successor within the next week.
네, 앞으로 이제 우리나라와 미국 간의 관계, 또 북한과의 관계에 있어서 이제 갑자기 이렇게 인물이 바뀐 것이 어떤 영향을 미치게 될지는 역시나 지켜봐야겠고요. Let's go on to our next headline.
Headline number 3. The Hong Kong government has denied persistent rumors that anti-government protesters may have died during a violent police clearance.
홍콩 시민들 사이에 퍼지고 있는 시위대 3명 사망설에 대해서 홍콩 정부가 강력 부인했습니다.
So the denial is not really that unexpected, but what is somewhat unexpected here is that in making that denial and in trying to clarify matters, there was a rare joint conference between three Hong Kong emergency services departments as well as the city's subway operator, because it is said to be in the subway where these deaths took place, if indeed they did. During that rare joint conference, the officials repeated for what is called the sixth time in just over a week's time that no casualties, no deaths occurred on August 31st at the station in question, which was said to be Prince Edward Station.
So the fact that this was a very rare press conference with so many different departments under the government taking part shows the seriousness of the issue. Now, the people are saying that 3 people may have been killed. Give us some background information on this.
Yeah, that's indeed the case. There are said to have been 3 deaths that occurred there. If we look at the government side, they're saying that the rumors of these possible deaths may have come because there were 10 individuals who had been initially reported as injured at that particular subway station on the night in question. However, when that number was later changed to 7, people began to wonder, well, what happened to those other 3?
Exactly.
Which is understandable. For its part, the government has said that that initial number of 10 was simply inaccurate and that the 7 was an adjustment and was the actual number.
But the speculation is also arising because certain pictures came out of that particular subway station where the police apparently attacked the protesters. A lot of them were very badly wounded. You could see some graphic pictures. And so people were saying it's quite likely that more went on than these pictures show.
Yeah, more than meets the eye certainly could be the case there, given the photographs that have emerged from the demonstrators and protesters. However, on the opposite side there, the so-called MTR Corporation, which operates the subway, did also release its own still photographs from CCTV camera footage inside the station that they say supports their claim.
네, 그렇습니다. 그러니까 지난달 말에 있었던 체포 사건이 있었어요. 홍콩에 있는 한 지하철역에서 경찰이 특수부대가 투입이 돼서 이제 시위대를 60여 명을 체포했었는데 그때 당시에 처음에는 10명의 부상자가 있다. 그러다가 갑자기 7명의 부상자로 숫자를 바꿨습니다. 그래서 사람들이 혹시 이 3명이 그러면 사망한 것이 아니냐. 그 근거로는 유포된 사진들을 보면 피를 흘리면서 굉장히 심하게 부상당한 시위자들의 모습이 있었다고 합니다. 홍콩 정부는 이를 전면 부인했습니다. Let's go on to our next headline.
Headline number 4. The Vietnam General Confederation of Labor has requested cutting working time from 48 hours per week to 44 hours.
베트남에서 근로자의 주당 기본 근로 시간을 48시간에서 44시간으로 줄이는 문제를 놓고 논란이 일고 있습니다.
Yeah, very quick note on spelling. If anyone is curious with labor there, L-A-B-O-U-R is the British English spelling, also used in Canada. That's the official name of that organization. They also use the British English spelling. And it's often just abbreviated as VGCL, and we'll refer to them as that for the rest of the story. In response to the announcement from the VGCL, enterprises and employers have said that reducing the working week would harm industry and the economy, since such regulation would then, of course, reduce export value.
네, 그러니까 현재 베트남에서는 주당 48시간을 근무하게 돼 있는데요. 베트남 노동촌연맹, 지금 영어로는 VGCL 이렇게 얘기를 하고 있습니다. 이 연맹에서 단축을 촉구한 것입니다. 왜 그러냐면은 이제 노동자들의 건강이라든지 이런 것들을 고려했을 때 48시간은 너무 많다라고 얘기를 한 것이지만 반대 측의 입장도 들어볼까요? What's the opposite side saying?
Right. So, of course, we've heard what the enterprises and the employers think, but it's also important to look at what the employees as well as the VGCL are thinking. And for their side, the VGCL as well as the workers themselves are looking at work-life balance, as are many countries around the world. They are saying that the reduction of working hours is somewhat of a trend globally. We've seen it here in Korea, of course, as well. And they're also focusing on, the family life, being able to take part in social activities, to take care of their families, and having more energy and better health to therefore be more productive, given that they're working fewer hours.
Right, but what are enterprises and companies saying against this?
Well, what they've said is that going ahead with this would reduce the export value, meaning that there would be less production.
Right.
Therefore, that would hurt the economy because, of course, Vietnam is known for its relatively cheap labor as well as high quality labor.
네. 그러니까 이게 노사 간의 갈등이라고 크게 볼 수 있을 것 같은데요. 지금 그 노동총연맹에서는 시간을 줄여야 된다. 노동자들의 건강을 생각해서라고 주장을 하고 있고요. 사측에서는 지금 많은 회사들이 언급이 되고 있지만 근로시간을 줄이게 되면은 그만큼 회사의 경쟁력도 떨어진다. 그리고 파산 위기까지 직면할 수 있다라고 주장을 하고 있기 때문에 첨예한 갈등이 이어지고 있습니다. Let's go on to our final headline.
Headline number 5. Private university tuition in South Korea is still among the top among OECD members, retaining the fourth place.
한국의 사립대학 등록금이 OECD 국가 중 4위로 여전히 최상위권 수준인 것으로 나타났습니다.
So this information comes to us by way of the OECD itself, which releases an annual report known as the Education at a Glance survey. In that report, the OECD looks at actually 46 countries. There are, however, only 37 member nations in the OECD, so they do look also at 9 non-member countries. Amongst that, South Korea came in fourth place, according to that survey. The average annual tuition based on undergraduate tuition of Korean private universities was said to be $8,760 at current exchange rates. That's just roughly over 10 million or 1,000만 원.
네, 그리고 1위는 미국이었고요. 2위는 호주였습니다. 1위와 2위는 예전과 순위가 변동이 없네요. But as you said, we still pay quite a lot of money for private schools here.
Fourth among the OECD, and yes, you mentioned the top two, the US and Australia. I think also significant here is the gap between those top two. The US ranked in at nearly $30,000 in first place, the most expensive, whereas second most expensive was just $9,000. So quite a large gap there, $20,000 gap.
Right. And in third place was Japan, by the way. Okay, well, those were our headlines for this morning. Let's remind our listeners of the quiz.
Well, given that today is more or less the eve day of the Chuseok holiday period, we have a quiz about Chuseok. During holidays, like Chuseok, many people choose to send gifts to loved ones that they cannot see in person. These gifts are generally blank. Would that be number 1, delivered, or number 2, exchanged?
Well, that quiz was very nicely delivered there, I must say. Thank you so much for that.
Nice hint. Very nice.
Thank you so much for that quiz. If you know the answer, send it in to us. 짧은 문자 50원, 긴 문자 100원에 샵 1045고요. 반디 게시판이나 카카오톡 플러스 이용도 가능합니다. 노래 듣고 와서 뉴스 포커스 살펴볼게요. This is the Bee Gees, You Win Again.